Good morning, everyone. It is so early in the morning, I'm not even going to tell you what time it is. But this is what my body does. It's like, well, I've been asleep for, hang on while I do the math. I've been asleep for 5.5 or so hours. Who needs any more sleep? Actually, you do. You just won't acknowledge that you do. So you're going to crash on me at, I don't know, sometime early or sometime later this morning or in the middle of the afternoon. What I am going to need from you is to be able to be awake and aware for the meeting that I have at 1 o'clock today. But the beauty of working from home as casually as we do is if you need to pass out before or after that, I can give myself the grace to do that. Anyway, it's so early Monday morning, I'm not going to tell you what time it is, but I'm going to go ahead and start this vlog because I can. Do I need a better reason than that? I'm thinking I'll make it a week-long thing because it's Monday and I don't have a whole lot going on, really. I have that meeting at 1 o'clock. Usually on Mondays, at least this term, I work for a college, and my schedule kind of changes every term, especially with one job that I have. I actually have technically two or three. It's hard to really... I have 2 timesheets, but I think of them as 3 separate jobs. What happened was I did get 3 separate jobs, but at the beginning of this fiscal year, my boss was absent, and it became my boss's job to make out the timesheets. And she set me up with 2. And I was like, where do I document the other job? And she said, on this timesheet. And I said, okay. Anyway, this term, Mondays and Wednesdays are my meeting days. Usually I have 2 meetings on Mondays, but one of our meetings got canceled today. You might think, my God, 3 jobs? You must be exhausted at the end of the day. Actually, they're very casual jobs, and I never put in, like, 5 hours or even 3 hours on any given job a day. Is this the job I love? Are any of these the job that I really adore? Are any of these the job that I would do and just dedicate my whole day to if I had to, or if I needed the money that bad? No. But do I have a lot to be grateful for with these jobs? Absolutely. First and foremost, I can do them from home. And I can do them at my own pace. You never get that in jobs. And yet, those are serious conditions of satisfaction for me. And you might think, what? What's a condition of satisfaction? It's a term that I learned well interacting with a community that I've interacted with for the past, 4 or 5 years. I don't know how much I'll be interacting with it in the future. I'm not necessarily saying they're a bad community, but there's a time for everything, they say. And my time for that community may be coming to something of an end. But anyway, a condition of satisfaction is a thing that you have to have in order for something to work best for you. A thing that you have to have in order to be happy with what you have. For example, conditions of satisfaction for your house might be, I don't know, you want, as a mom, maybe you want a big yard for the kids, you want a laundry room so that you don't have to deal with a laundry mat for your family of 2, 3, 4, 5. You want, I don't know, a big living room, a dishwasher, a garbage disposal to make life easier for you, Mama. What I'm listing off are some conditions of satisfaction that you might want for your house. Conditions of satisfaction that I might have for my house would be, house of the future would be, like, I want maybe 3 bedrooms, one that I'd probably, like, convert into an office, one that I'd convert into a junk room or something. I want room for my shit. It could be said become a minimalist. Get rid of some of your shit. Well, okay, maybe I could do that. But what about having room for it? In my perfect house of the future, I want a laundry room that is accessible to the blind so that I can do my own laundry. I would want conditions of satisfaction. Oh, it must be... I don't know how you get this, but it must be easy to find. For drivers, for delivery people, it must be easy to locate. You must be able to just give an address and have a situation where a GPS would take you right to my driveway. Or maybe I could put up some kind of landmark, like, you know it when you see the neon sign that you can see for like a quarter of a mile that says, I don't know, Ann V Home or whatever. It's not going to be called Ann V Home. I'm not going to put up a neon sign necessarily, but I'm just saying it has to have that kind of distinctness to be found. You know, it has to be that easy to find, or there has to be easy directions for a person to be able to follow. I'm listing conditions of satisfaction for a future house. What I was getting to with that is one condition of satisfaction for any job that I have now and in the future is I have to be able to do it from home. And I have to be able to do it largely when I want to. If there's a meeting that we schedule around, great. You know, perfectly understandable. That might even be best. But for everything else, I have to be able to do it just when it's convenient for me. And that's pretty rare. So to find that in these jobs makes these jobs maybe not perfect, but really good. Like, you never find that. And after my ex job, that just became a must. Anyway, we're in the winter term of 2025, and this term, Monday and Wednesday, are my meeting days. Monday, we usually have the Braille transcription meeting and the podcast meeting. Today we only have the podcast meeting. The Braille meeting got canceled. And every other Wednesday we have a tech team meeting. We have one of those this week. And sandwiched between the two meeting days is tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day my banking app comes back online. My bank and another bank have been planning to merge. And I think this is the merge. I mean, actually the merge is going to go on for probably a year. But this weekend, the apps, the branches, everything just closed down so that they could do merger stuff. Tomorrow, the banks are going to reopen and the app is going to come back online. And I'm looking forward to being able to look at my money again. Confirm that money came in, see where we stand. Make sure there's not any surprises. There won't be any surprises, but I just want to be able to look at what's going on again. Also tomorrow, this is the part I don't look forward to. I've been warned that there is going to be fire alarm testing tomorrow. That's going to suck. If there's not an actual fire, don't trigger the fire alarm. That's where I am when it comes to fire alarms. I definitely see their purpose and I'm grateful for them. But if there's not a fire, hush, fire alarm. It's about me being autistic, as I recently found out I am. And those things being loud as hell, okay? Those things are freaking loud. I will probably let you hear what I experience for part of the day tomorrow, because it's going to happen on and off all day, and there's going to be plenty of opportunity for me to turn the vlogging camera, aka Victor Reader Stream 2 that I'm using to record this vlog, on and let you hear this loud ass thing. I mean, the whole point of a fire alarm is to wake you up if you're asleep and get you the hell out of there. And it does what it's meant to do. Like, I want to get the hell out of there just to get away from that screaming noise. Whether there's a fire or not. And to know that that's going to be happening on and off all day, I wish I had someplace to go to just wait it out. Maybe one day I will. But right now I don't really have a place, so I guess I'm going to have to wait it out and put the earphones on and hope they shield out enough of it. In the meantime, I have just sat here rambling for 20 minutes, and I don't really think that I'm in a situation where I have to call it the morning yet, but I also know that my body's probably not going to want to go back to sleep right now, so I might as well just get up. But I'm also not going to vlog every minute of the day. I'll just edit these two things together so it's a long-winded start, but at least it's not as long as it would have been. And then talk to you when there's something more to say. I kind of started talking about the week and then I never finished. Today, there's my meeting at 1 o'clock. Tomorrow, I just told you about everything going on tomorrow. Well, not everything. I'm going to be looking at my bank again. I don't know if I really have to log back in or if it's going to remember me from last time. I guess we'll find out. Hang on, I'm doing too much at once and forgetting what I'm doing. I'm walking around with something in my hand and forgetting where it needs to go. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to have access to my banking information again. There's this god-awful fire alarm test, and then there's my virtual therapy appointment. That's the only thing I've got going on tomorrow. Wednesday I've got my meeting first thing in the morning, 9:45 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. That's maybe not first thing in the morning, but some mornings for me that is first thing in the morning. I mean, my body's like all over the place. Sometimes I seem to go to bed, at a stable time, or fairly stable, but what time does my morning start? It varies. Sometimes I'll wake up close to then. Sometimes I'll be up, earlier than I want to be. Actually, a lot of times I'll be up earlier than I want to be, then crash at, when most people wake up, and then 9:45 is something that I have to set an alarm for because otherwise I would just sleep right through it. But when you have a work meeting, you set the alarm if you have to. So Wednesday I've got that meeting. That's really the only thing I've got going on Wednesday. And then Thursday I've got a doctor's appointment. That sucker's freaking early. I believe 9:45 is when my ride is actually coming to take me to this doctor's appointment. But the way things ended up happening, I had a 2 o'clock class, virtual class. Everything that can be virtual is virtual for me. Arranging transportation and meeting the transportation when I don't have built-in transportation that I'm really comfortable with is too much for me. So I need to get in-home everything I can get. Now, doctor's appointments, when the doctor actually needs to see me, I know better than to ever expect that to happen in-home. But when all the doctor wants to do is talk about medications, or when it's a therapy appointment where what you're talking about is psychology related, then we can do that in-home. And I take advantage of every in-home thing I can get. And this class where my teacher can connect to my computer remotely, those can happen from home most of the time. And that's what's happening this week. So, yeah, I had an appointment at 2 o'clock, so I couldn't let the doctor's appointment happen in the afternoon, unfortunately, because I can't physically be at an appointment at 1 o'clock and then expect to be at home in time for a 2 o'clock class. Now, understanding soul that my teacher is, I could have canceled the class, but that's an example of my commitment. I've got the class. I schedule the rest of my life around the class. I've got a work meeting. I schedule the rest of my life around the work meeting. That's called being responsible. Anyway, that takes us up to Friday when my caregiver, assistant, they call themselves caregivers, so I call her my caregiver. She doesn't, do personal care, care. I can do a lot of that myself, but I can do all of that myself, actually. But she is my transportation, running different errands. She is the transportation that I'm comfortable with. And what I need are people like her that can drive me places at times that she can't, or places that, according to the rules of the agency, she's not allowed to be my transportation for. First of all, I only have her once a week, so I can't have her be my transportation for everything. Secondly, there are things that the agency or somebody says that she's not allowed to be my transportation for. Am I happy about that? No. But what would I rather do, and what is easier for me to do? Change the rules or live around them? I'll live around them. Some people are gutsy enough and feisty enough to say, fuck the rules, I'm just going to do what I want to do. Well, I'm not going to say that those people are wrong, but I am going to say that that is not me. I can say, who made up that stupid rule? I hate that. But I don't have the gall to say, I refuse to follow it. I don't know if it's that I wasn't raised that way, if I don't have the guts to do that, or if it's a little bit of both. But the rules are the rules, and I don't have to like them, but I do have to either obey them or not be at that place and stay at another place where that rule doesn't exist. There are notifications and notifications and notifications coming on. Let me turn off this vlog and find out what some of these are. It's a bunch of chat stuff for work. You know, this job is probably my least favorite job, but the fact of the matter is, it's what I did the most work for last week, and therefore that's where a big chunk of my money this paycheck is going to come from. You know, I'm not crazy about it, but being a blind and autistic person, they really need a person like me. My tech job is about going to websites that the college is considering using and trying to work with it and reporting about my experience with using it with the screen reading program that I have to use. And now figuring out how well does this technology work with this brain that doesn't operate like most people's do, and that needs everything spelled out, and that in spite of the doctor's assessment that I have good problem solving skills, when I'm faced with a problem, I don't think through, okay, how can I solve this? My first reaction is, tell me what to do and I'll do it. I have no idea how to deal with this. I get overwhelmed quickly, or don't have the motivation to think it through. Just don't throw a problem at me and say, solve it. Take the problem and tell me what the solution is. So, as much as I don't like going to websites or working with programs that are just as likely not user-friendly for a person like me, and saying, here are all the crappy things I had to deal with trying to work with that, and this is why if you got someone like me, you don't want to throw this at them. I don't like that, but the truth is they need me, and until I find that thing that I love to do and that has enough work that when I want to work, I have enough work to do for it, I'm going to have to hang in there and keep doing this job. And as far as the other job, Braille transcription, I haven't had a dot of Braille to transcribe since I joined that team, so it's hard to say what I think about that yet. And the podcast tech job, that's probably the one that I like the most, even though I'm not wild and crazy about it. What would I be wild and crazy about? My default answer is I don't know, but the real answer probably is deep down in my heart I know, but I don't believe that the job exists where I can actually make money doing that. There's probably a lot of self-discovery isn't the word, probably, self something that I can do to get to the point where I'm like, you know what, I do know what I would love to do, and this is what I would love to do, and here's how I'm going to, or planning to, or actively making money doing it. And one of these days I'll get to that. It has taken me 20 years to get to the point where, or am I even there yet? I think I'm closer to there than I ever have been, but am I there yet? The point where I'm realizing who I am and realizing that that's okay, and able to hush the voices in my head that say that's not okay, voices that are coming from the way I was raised. And I then internalized that critical voice, and I have myself telling myself, I don't even think it's my conscience. I think it's the memory of people that influenced me, telling me, you shouldn't be doing that. That's not right. That blah, blah, blah. You know what? You guys meant well, but you never understood me. And it's not even your fault, or not all your fault. And the real me was never okay to you, so I physically got distance from you. And it's taken me this long to get you out of my head. And realize that it's okay to be who I am, whoever that truly is. So, if that's taken 20 years, who knows how long it's going to take to finally realize, yeah, this is what I would love to do. This is what I should have started working toward as a kid if I'd been given the opportunity or given any reason to believe that there was any either hope for it to work or way that I was going to be accepted by my family doing that. And this is how you make money doing it, and this is what that means, and this is what I'm going to do. Hopefully not another 20 years, because that would put me at 65, and that's when most people retire, not start their career. I'll get there. This is the epitome of recording whatever, wherever, from using whatever you have to. I have grabbed an iPhone, and I'm using the Voice Memos app right now. I am gonna jump in this chat conversation, and yeah, they're chatting up a storm in there, and I might just have something to contribute, because I just heard something about, I think that threw some of the testers. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of the testers that shit threw. Actually, I just looked at that chat more clearly. When you get these notifications popping in, you get like a little blurb of the chat, like a tiny excerpt, and like you don't see enough of it to really get enough context to even know what they're talking about. So I went in there and read that, and I was like, no, that's not what threw me. What threw me was something like way behind what you're reading. I mean, I never even could find where you're even at right now. It's like, I don't know how these people access what they, I don't know. It could be argued that I didn't try hard enough, but I put a lot of hours into that test, and, I don't think it's that I didn't try hard enough. It's that it's not user-friendly enough, and or my brain does not see something like that and figure out how to break the locks and get into what like should be accessible in the first place, which the bottom line there is don't put the walls up. Make it accessible to begin with. That's kind of what the whole point of our department is, our particular sub-department called the Tech Review Team. Is what you're trying to access locked up, or is it easy to get to? In this particular case, it was so hard for me to get to that I couldn't even meet these testers wherever in the world they are. What happened there was I was editing my vlog with the SD card that my recorder had been using in my computer because I was editing, and the chat conversation caught my eye, and I was like, especially since it's 7:45 and we do our time in 15-minute increments, let me just jump into this. And then I was like, well, if I want to vlog, like, I can't vlog. I grabbed my phone and opened the voice memos app and vlogged that way. You know, I take back what I said in the beginning. I'm not going to make a week-long vlog out of this because this is already like 20 minutes. If I make a week-long vlog out of this, it's going to be like 3 hours. I'm going to make a Monday vlog here. Look at how the universe provides answers to questions. I was just wondering a couple of days ago, gee, I wonder when that show actually started. And here I am scrolling Facebook and the question just pops, or the answer just pops up. Look at that. Yeah. Easy recipes is still too hard for me. I just saw this ad for one of those deliver the groceries and make the meals stuff. I'm like, no. There's still too much complicated cooking there. Man, normally I would be looking at the clock and saying, it's 10 minutes before my meeting. I've still got an hour and 10 minutes before my meeting. You know, even though we didn't have our actual meeting, I feel like I did like 45 minutes worth of work this morning. Was it that long? Yeah. 7:45 to 8:30. I did 45 minutes worth of work this morning, so it almost makes up for not having a meeting. It's like, I still get my work in. I can go to the meeting and then do what I want to. Like, there's nothing that mandates me to work for 2-3 hours afterwards. I mean, depending on how the meeting goes or how much energy I feel like I have once I have my new assignment, or if there's some kind of sense of urgency, like, we really should have put you on this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We need this done stat. Like, we got to have this by Friday or something. Without that, I probably won't force myself to, you know, I'll get it today, but I may or may not actually work on it today. And again, it is not lost on me that I am lucky. I have got so much to be grateful for. I mean, I'm not doing this so that everybody can watch my vlogs and go, where the hell do I get that kind of job, you lucky bitch? I'm not doing this to flaunt the blessings that I have in everybody else's face and say, I've got it better than you do. I'm doing this to, I guess, show that I am realizing that even though there are things that I wish had gone differently, or there are things that I wish were different, I still have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, at this time 2 years ago, I didn't have a job where I could work from home or get away with working for 45 minutes and then clocking out for any amount of time. In June of 2023, I theoretically went on medical leave, but really in my heart, I left the place forever, I was hoping, and ended up making that reality officially 2 months later. 2.5, almost 3 months later. But it wasn't always this way, and even if there's better and eventually I'll find it, things are pretty good even now. And I guess my point is, if right now you feel like your life sucks, don't feel like you have to stay in this sucky life. Maybe it seems like that's the only thing that you can do, but just don't give up. If you're that unhappy, ask yourself what would be better. And then once you've figured out what the answer is to that question, go pursue it. Whether you take purposeful strides toward your goals or baby step by baby step. pursue what you truly want. We don't deserve to live miserable. We deserve to live happy, to find our happiness. Not the happiness that mom and dad wanted for you, that really was their idea of happiness, and really what makes you happy is nothing like that. But your version of happiness. And I get it. Sometimes you're so immersed in what society or family or somebody says happiness is that you don't know what true happiness is for you. But for your own sake, try to find happiness for yourself. And if that means getting out of this god-awful job that you hate, draft your letter of resignation. Maybe don't give it to your boss yet, but draft it and then find a job that is more what you would want. Or even start at the beginning. Ask yourself, if I could quit this damn job, what would I want to do instead? Just start there. Life's too short to force yourself to stay miserable just because someone else wants you to do this, that, or another thing when really you hate the hell out of it. Like I said, even if there are some things that aren't perfect, even now, there's a lot that at this time 2 years ago I was thinking, if I had this, now I've got it, and that's a great reason to be thankful. Well, I went to my meeting, and it's good and bad at the same time. It's nice to have some time off. They don't need anything from me this week. They have to do their work before I can do mine, basically. And that's nice that I'm going to get some time off here. But that means that, with this other project, with my other job being wrapped up here, and there not being any job in the other job, and now this job doesn't need me, it's like, okay, I still believe that working for your money, there's merit in that, but right now there's no work to do. That's a little tricky. But again, I still have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful to you for watching. I know it's only like 1:20 in the afternoon, but I'm going to wrap this vlog up already because it is literally like half an hour long. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.